Hi, guys. Okay, Miko, are we good to go?
Mayor, we are good to go.
Okay. Um, I'm going to call to order a meeting of the City of Cedarburg Common Council on Monday, February 23rd at 7 p.m. Roll call. We are all there except Melissa, who I think is excused. And Jess, did you know if Christian's coming?
I do not know if he is coming.
Okay, well, we'll see him if we see him. Okay, we're going to stand for a moment of silence. Okay, and then we'll turn to the flag for the pledge.
Pledge allegiance
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America,
to the
and to
republic
the republic for which it stands,
one
one nation.
God, indivisible, liberty and justice.
Thank you. Jess, were we publicly noticed?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, this is a point where if there's anyone in the audience at City Hall, if you'd like to take a couple minutes to speak on something that's not an agenda item, just come up to the podium, give your name and address, and you're welcome to do that. If it's an agenda item, just make certain that you catch Miko's attention. He can let me know if you want to talk about something on the agenda. Is anybody out there?
Mayor, nobody out here.
Okay, thank you. We will go to new business 6A, which is discussion and possible action on approval of ordinance 2026-06, amending section 8-3-13 of city code relating to the city's recycling program. And Mike Weiser, our city engineer, will take that.
Good evening, everybody. So the DNR is requiring the city to pass an ordinance to reflect changes made by the recycling rule revision. This allows us to continue being eligible for a recycling grant that we receive annually, which is typically around $37,000. The changes were largely mundane. There was a couple changes to some definitions, and then they're really trying to define adequate as for size of recycling containers when it comes to multifamily and non-residential recycling units. So we brought this to the Public Works and Sewerage Commission, and they recommended passage. There was one question regarding the old code referenced the definition of multifamily unit as four dwelling units or more. This one references 5. That will be changed automatically just because the ordinance changed all of the definitions, even though a couple of them only changed. And I think it came from our recycling contract. Multifamily unit is 4 or more, and that recycling contract doesn't deal with multifamily, just residential units. So I think that's where that came in, but largely no changes. So any questions?
Anybody have a question for Mike? If not, somebody wants to make a motion to approve. Great. Is there a second? Sorry, I'm catching you at the end. We've got a motion, a second. All in favor?
No, wait. We don't have a motion yet. Bobby's gonna make a motion.
I'm sorry, Bob. I thought you did that.
No, make a motion to approve the ordinance 2026-06, amending sections 8-3-13 of the city code relating to the city's recycling program.
Second.
Okay, now we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
And no one's opposed? Great, thank you. We're going to go to 7B, which is discussion and possible action on granting a Class B beer and Class C liquor wine only license to Pompet Cafe LLC, 1516 Galaxy Court in Cedarburg, and Samuel Cox is the agent, and it's going to be located on Washington Ave. Jess or Miko?
Well,
Just start
yeah,
off.
I'll let Sam Cox, you're up
Okay.
on the podium, so
Go ahead,
Thank-
Sam. That's good.
Thank you very much. Good evening. I'm gonna have to apologize in advance. I'm getting over bronchitis, so if I have a coughing fit, it's nothing personal. My name is Sam Cox. I'm here with my wife, Amy Herbst Cox, and we're opening Pompet Creperie and Cafe in late spring or early summer of this year at West 63, North 631 Washington Avenue. Our creperie and cafe will look to pair sweet and savory crepe combinations inspired by our family's travels to Spain and France, with both coffee drinks, likely mainly in the mornings, but also with beer and wine, likely later on in the day. One of the things that we've noticed in our time spent traveling abroad is first how interesting and delicious some of the flavor combinations of food can be, and how we could recreate many of these combinations using ingredients that could be procured locally. But also, second, how many of these foods can be enhanced by their accompanying beverages. For example, a sweet crepe filled with Nutella, banana, and strawberry is wonderful all by itself, but it's even better when it's served with a cafe cortado. And a savory crepe or a galette filled with ham, cheese, and egg is traditionally accompanied in France by a mug of cider, hard cider. Coffee drinks, beer, cider, wine, sherry, and vermouth are all drinks that can and would enhance many of the types of food that we would be offering. This is why we are seeking a Class B beer and Class C wine only license. Amy is a lifelong resident of Cedarburg with strong roots in our community. We have lived here, both of us, and have raised our 4 children since we got married in 1999. We're very excited to bring this idea to our hometown and to share this part of our lives with our community, and we're happy to take any questions that you may have.
Anyone on the council?
No, not for me. Good.
No, I have no questions at all.
All right, I'll make a motion to approve the Class B beer and Class C wine or wine only license to Pompet Cafe, which will be licensed at W63 and 631 Washington Avenue.
Second.
Okay, thank you both. We have a motion, and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
And no one's opposed? Okay, thank you. That was
Good luck,
easy.
guys.
Good luck. We look forward to seeing you. 7C is discussion and possible action on the award of the construction contract for the 2026 street and utility project. And again, Mike Weiser. Thank you.
Yeah, so staff advertised and received bids for the 2026 street utility project. A total of 3 bids were received, with the low bid being submitted by Dorner Incorporated at a total of $2,946,977.50. Dorner has done a lot of work in the city in the past, most recently on the 2024 street and utility project. Their bid was $805,000 below the engineer's estimate and does fall within budget. Bids here were very competitive, with the second lowest bid being about $113,000 higher than Dorner's bid. It does seem like we're seeing a continuation of what we saw with the South Washington bid. Just some things, some prices lower than we expected. Common excavation, hot mix or asphalt, concrete curb and concrete sidewalks seem lower, along with some storm sewer pipes, water main pipe, and sanitary sewer pipe all came in quite a bit lower. You know, I think we talked about it the last time that we take past projects numbers and kind of bump them up. But if something changes in the meantime that we're not necessarily aware of, we can, you know, missed something. And that does seem to be what happened here. I still don't completely have my finger on it, but you will see in the bids, I did separate, or I had them separate out one street. That's mostly because I was thinking we were gonna be having a completely different conversation, and that made it easy in case we had to take a street away, that we could do that. But as these bids came in, that's not needed. I know, a question has arisen that in case we could add more streets, since the bids are low. That would be difficult just because we would need to have engineering drawings for those streets. And we'd also have to talk with Light and Water, make sure they can fit that in their budgets. And we need to contractually, we really, and there's some ways of getting around this, but you're really only supposed to bump things up by 25% without having to rebid unit prices. So if we wanted to look at something to add, we could maybe look at adding to our asphalt repair program. But then again, that's kind of, that's right now budgeted for 60,000. But that's kind of fixing a different class of streets. The street project is taking 2s and 3s and completely rehabbing them, where like the asphalt repair is kind of taking streets rated at a 5 to 7 and trying to keep them good for longer. So, yeah, I guess any questions?
Is a 2 or 3 considered, like, is that considered a total resurface or no?
2 or 3 is usually considered reconstruct.
Okay,
gotta go
what's,
down.
what's a resurface then?
Resurface would be in the 4s, 5s. 2s or 3s have gotten to a point where the structure below
Okay,
can't be, you got to fix the structure below to fix it correctly.
So the question on whether or not we could add more streets came from me. You know, I get your answer. I guess as we think about this, and the reason it came from me is because this is money that's already been raised. So if we're not going to spend it on street construction, you know, it's not like it's still being invested and we'll have a return on that, which is great. But, you know, there's needs and we have the money, right? It's a shame that we can't spend it and just do more. So I understand what you're saying, like this year, that's not an option. As we contemplate or think about this process next year, do we change something? Do we maybe, okay, I mean, and I have no idea if this is reasonable or not, Mike, but is there, okay, here's what we think is going to match how much funding we have available, but let's just add another street on, another project on, and if we choose not to do that, that's fine. Or is that just so onerous and it comes with other problems that I'm not thinking about? Because it just seems like it seems a little bit unfortunate that we're not going to have, you know, that we can't spend this money that's already been raised. I mean, it's great that this is well under budget, but it'd be nice to just spend that on something else then.
Yeah, I think if we were a city that did our own design work, we would have a better chance of having projects that could be on the shelf. In this case, we hire out engineering, so it's kind of hard to hire out streets you probably know you're not going to do to have them on the shelf.
But wouldn't we just do it in the following year probably anyway? In which case, can't we just take those plans and use them the next?
Yeah, it could. You might have a different consultant at that point. You know, it could be, it could be done.
All right.
I just,
If it's not, you know, if it's not doable, that's fine. I think it's worthwhile to just explore the feasibility of that for next year, right? In the event that, I mean, maybe this is so infrequently this happens where stuff comes in so far under budget that, you know, thinking about this is not even, you know, it's fanciful. But either way.
So
but-
the way I look at it on the budget side of things is we might not have to borrow as much or might not even have to borrow next year for street projects if we have these savings in
Mhm.
there. So we will look at it that way and it could help our next year's budget. So the street funds that are available, they don't go away. They go into our fund balance under streets for future use. So definitely helps us on the borrowing end down the road.
Fair enough.
Anybody else have a question for Mike? Okay, does anybody want to make a motion?
I have a quick question,
Oh, sure.
just remind, what did we vote on last time for that, for the one? The last time we were here, remember we voted on this before we had the meeting at, like, what, for the, I just can't remember. Last
Public, or for Public Works. It
That
was, it was South
Washington Avenue
Washington.
project.
Okay,
Yep.
that's right. All right. Now I'm caught up.
Okay, do you want to make a motion, anybody?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to award the this says 2004 street.
This is 2026, isn't it?
Oh, 2026 street and utility project to Dorner for amount not to exceed $2,946,978.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion, a second. Any other questions of Mike? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
No one's opposed? Thank you. Thank you, Mike. Okay, we're going to go to 7D, which is discussion and possible action on the award of the construction inspection contract for the 2026 street and utility project.
Yeah, so as we've just been talking about, the street utility project is scheduled to begin in April. Now, typically, we as staff inspect the annual street and utility project. However, since we've been unable to fill the engineering technician or assistant engineer position, construction inspection would be need to be hired out. So staff asked RA Smith to submit a proposal for construction services. As we've talked, they have provided inspection services in the past, namely on the business park and the Hanover extension and Fox Run, along with other private developments. Their proposal total came in at $136,504 based on their hourly rates and an estimated amount of required. This total is within budget for streets and storm sewer on the 2026 street project. Their rates are $112 for inspection and $180 for project manager. These are generally in line with other consultants. And it should be noted, this is a time and expense contract, so should we hire an engineering technician in the meantime, then that person would take over the inspection and the RA Smith contract would go to the side. I did just want to talk quickly about what we've done to hire the assistant engineer or engineering tech position. So our engineer left or informed us he was leaving in July of last year. We had the job posted on NeoGov later that afternoon. And at that point, it was an assistant engineering position, which requires a 4-year degree, engineering degree. And we had a salary range of $62,000 to $72,000. Then we only received one interview candidate during that time. And so we brought them in for an interview and found they weren't.
I don't know if your microphone's working. Pat, can you hear Mike anymore?
No, I was just going to text Miko. I saw him pick it up.
That it?
Yeah, that's good, Mike.
That's good? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we received one interviewable candidate, brought them in for an interview and found and didn't think they were a right fit for the position. So then we kind of went back to the drawing board and thought we'd try where we keep the salary range roughly the same, but go for an engineering technician. Now, it's always been an assistant engineer, but a lot of the tasks that I performed as part of this job are in line with what a engineering tech could do. And that usually only requires a 2-year associate's degree. So we posted that for a month or so, and we had that total. We bumped down the top end a little bit, but we went 57,000 to 67,000. Through that time, we only received one interviewable candidate again, brought them in for an interview, and again found they wouldn't be a good fit for the position. So then we went back and reposted, but then bumped up the high end. So we went to 57,000 to 72,000, and that's where it's been sitting since. We've gotten 5 candidates since then. we are looking to, at this point, set up maybe two interviews, maybe 3 interviews. And we've, throughout this whole time, we've been posting on NeoGov, which automatically gets picked up or sent to Indeed and governmentjobs.com. We've also gone onto this Handshake website, which apparently 4-year colleges and 2-year schools are using a lot of. And then we've been on APWA Wisconsin also. So I guess I did a quick search as well of these type of positions and saw like 12 communities are kind of looking for the same thing at this point. So 5 engineering techs and 7 of them were engineer positions with maybe at the lower end. So I guess I'll open it up for questions.
Of these 5 candidates that it sounds like you're gonna interview 2 or 3 of them, when did we get those resumes? How?
I believe one of them was over the last 3 weeks, maybe.
How promising do the resumes look to you, in your opinion, Mike?
I'm not very excited.
Not, okay.
Oh, oh, sorry.
Well, that's gonna go a long way. I mean, I understand that, I guess, but maybe having this conversation then is a little premature. Is this the time to have this conversation then, Miko?
Let's have it in the next agenda item,
Yeah.
have that conversation, yep.
I think.
I thought we kind of jumped forward here.
We did, well, I just wanted
That's
to have
okay.
an explanation as part of why we're having to contract out for the services at this point.
All right, well,
Um,
I don't think we really have much of an option here but to approve this, right? And hope that we can find someone to fill the position and not have to go this route. So I don't know if anyone has any other questions. I mean, this is it's a role that has to be done regardless of. And I think R.A. Smith is the best candidate to do it in the event that we're not able to hire someone internally. So with that, I'll make.
You're gonna make a motion?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve the award the construction inspection contract for the 2026 street and utility project to R.A. Smith for a total not to exceed $136,504.
Second.
Okay, and this isn't part of the motion, or not adding to the motion, but just reminding everybody that once we get somebody, we can cut that off. So we'll do that as soon as the person is in and prepared to go. We got a motion, a second, all in favor?
Aye.
No one's opposed? Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mike. We're going to go to E now, which is discussion and possible action on proposal for engineering technician recruitment services, innovative public advisors. And Mike kind of led us into this already with the background on what we've done so far. Miko, I think you'll take this.
Yeah, so as part of our conversation last time, and then obviously coming into this conversation about having a contract out for a large sum for outside contractors to inspect our road projects, we definitely wanted to look at all of our options and make sure that the council is aware of some of the things we've done up to date to try to hire. Like Mike said, there's quite a lot of engineering tech or assistant engineer positions open right now. Some of the communities have actually reached out. One, as of today, sent an email to neighboring communities asking about what their wage range is for their engineering tech positions. So it seems like there is definitely a need to look at the salary ranges for this position and other positions as well. But one item that I am bringing in front of the council as an option is that we hire an outside firm. The firm that did reach out to me, I reached out to a couple, and Innovative Public Advisors provided a quote for this service, and really doing quite a bit of the stuff that we've already done. I think they might have a little bit broader network than we might have to reach out. And when I asked them, what are you doing different? They said they'll look at our current posting, make sure that the posting is written correctly, and written in a way that entices candidates. They'll make sure they'll be personally reaching out to people they know, as well as putting it on their LinkedIn profiles through their associations. And they will, because I asked the question, well, what happens if you don't find anybody? They said, well, at some point we will find somebody for this position. We'll continue working with you until that position is filled. So it's not, okay, after 6 months, it's not filled, we're going to end the contract. It's until the position is filled. So the amount is 9,750 that they're requesting for their services. And if you had a chance to look through their proposal, what it did was they reviewed that position, enhanced it, advertising in the different areas, promoting in their networks, and recruiting the applicants. They help with the interviews and that hiring process. Both of the employees of that, the owners of that organization, have quite a considerable amount of experience in the municipal world. So that is one option that we have. But recently, as Mike stated, we do have a couple candidates that we will be bringing in for interviews and seeing if they would work out for us. And then looking at the salary range, I know that was a discussion as well. And previously, is are we in the right salary range? Based on what we found out with other municipalities, we're right in there. But do we want to raise it in order to get more applicants, I guess, is the question that I would have for the council. One way is contracting with the service, raising that salary, or just looking at internally raising that salary a little bit and seeing what candidates we get. So there are a couple options that we can look at.
I'm not in this realm of hiring and firing and recruiting. But I always kind of thought if you're using a service for something, it's usually more of a higher level position, like a headhunter kind of thing, right? So not to say that engineers aren't special, Mike, but
Full.
They're very special.
they are
Tired.
very special. But for assistant type position, I don't feel super comfortable spending $10,000 to try to find one. I think I'd be more apt to, raise the salary versus do that. I did have another point, but I am so tired. I can't even think. Maybe one of you talk and I'll figure it out.
Is this an entry level, like for engineering? Is this entry level?
Yeah, typically it's an entry level position.
I mean, anecdotally, I would say, having a husband who is a director in mechanical engineering, like the coming in asking for out of school engineers is pretty high, asking salary and wanting direct reports and wanting they're coming out of school asking for a lot. So I think raising the range makes sense, at least to make us a more attractive option if these openings exist in other communities too.
Does it have to be, again, this may be such a stupid question. Does it have to be an engineer? Is there other, are we narrowing in too far on terms? Could it be somebody with some other type of degree or?
Yeah, I think it's critical as a civil engineer because it's road inspections that
Yeah.
you're inspecting. So it's a little bit different than mechanical or other engineering.
Does it require certain licenses?
This one does not require the PE license as our regular engineer like Mike has.
Okay.
So I'll let you more talk since you're more knowledgeable on the engineering side.
Yeah, I guess that was our attempt with the engineering tech. You
Okay.
could say a 2-year degree or experience, you don't necessarily need a degree to be an engineering tech, but maybe you've done inspection for someone for a number of years and you picked up the industry.
Okay.
So that was kind of our attempt there. At this point, it hasn't been fruitful in the engineering tech. I mean, because if I've looked up some stuff today that was of those kind of 12 positions, and the engineering tech average range is like 55 to 67. So we're actually above that.
Yeah.
So there just doesn't seem to be a ton of candidates in that area.
Mm.
So I guess that, I don't know, my thought would be is if we bump up, I wouldn't bump up for the
Right,
bump
Mhm.
to get
right, right.
that, you know.
Just,
that
Mike, I
raise-
think we're losing you again.
Oh,
Just stay near the mic.
that average range for the 12.
Yeah, I wonder if it was just too far away.
That good? Yeah.
Yeah.
For those 12, I mean, 7 of the 12 were engineer openings. That average range was kind of in the 72 to 91. There was some that were pretty good on. I know a couple, and just keeping an eye on it over the last couple of weeks. I know there was one position that they actually bumped up within the last, since I looked at it last. So
Who did? I'm sorry, who bumped it up?
West Bend did.
Oh. I think one of the mistakes we're making here is that we're determining our comparables as openings in other municipalities that have not been able to fill the position. The true comparable should be the $136,000 we just approved to spend on R.A. Smith for what this person would do. That's the comparable. So I didn't see Miko's email on the salary thing that you sent out till much later, but I mean, I think that's, yeah, and I was just gonna reply real quick with a yes in capital letters, but I didn't, but I'm inclined to, I mean, I'm not quite sure, Mike, if I agree with you. I mean, my guess is if we're way under on the engineering tech, then we might be underestimating what it's going to cost to get a full engineer here as well. Maybe that's not right. But I just think that you know, we can wish for what the right number to pay somebody is, but that's not determined by the city of Cedarburg. That's determined by the market overall. So what the market is telling us loud and clear is that the number we have on here is way too low, or not way too low. It's too low. And arguably way too low given how little interest it has generated. So I think it only makes sense to explore a headhunting agency if we think our issue is with awareness. Like we're not getting this out there broadly enough. We're not, you know, the job posting doesn't sound good enough. We're not including this or this. I don't think that's the issue. I think the issue is the pay is inadequate for the position. So I think step number one is you boost the pay on this thing. And you know, the way that I think a reason, please correct me, I haven't looked for a job for a long time. So, and that's a good thing. I'm very thankful for that. But I think most people, when they look at a salary range for an opening, they go, well, you know, it's 57 to 72. I'm going to be brand new. So they're going to probably want to pay me around maybe 60,000 if I'm lucky. And I can work up to that 72. That's the message I think we send when we set this range up. I think you know, and we can, maybe this isn't the best forum to debate exactly what that number should be, but it should be higher. The other thing and maybe I shouldn't say this, but the other issue that I have here is I know Tracy's new to her role, but we now have a director of human resources. That's just in my mind another reason why we should not be spending 10 grand for a headhunter. That's what her job is, right? So, and I'm sympathetic when she's new to it, and but still, that is another reason that makes it very, very hard for me to approve this. So, I guess maybe we go down the road of interviewing these few candidates, and if they're not kind of what we're looking for, you know, then we boost what we're willing to pay for this, and we have a strategy that I don't think starts at this I don't think the strategy is up the high end of the range. I think the strategy is up the low end of the range, because I really do think that optically that's how people think about ranges when they're applying for new jobs.
I just, oh,
Go ahead.
just a couple of thoughts. Mike, what if well, one, I'm not in favor of doing the consulting service. I don't think we need to spend that money. I think you guys have been working at this. I'm with Jim. I know that Tracy's got a lot on her plate right now, but that's her job, in part. And I think that, you know, we should you know, she has the capability to help you as we move forward from this. Mike, if we were to take up, do like West Bend did, kind of move the job description back up a little bit to assistant engineer or something in that realm versus engineering tech. Still not require a PE, maybe not require the 4-year degree, but something where there's going to be some title boost to it. And then I do believe that we need to take up the salary as well. I think we're seeing that. Whether it throws us off in other areas or not, that's just something we've dealt with before and we'll deal with again. But I do believe that we need to take up the salary I do believe that we need to take the job back up from engineering tech because it doesn't sound like there are any out there. Take it back up to the assistant engineer and consider boosting the increase. And as Jim said, I don't know that the top end needs to be real high. I mean, it probably higher than where it is right now, but the lower end needs to be higher. And I think Jim said that portion well.
So can I jump in here? Thanks.
Please do.
Gun?
Thank you.
Gun?
Listening to everybody, well, I'll lean forward. Sorry, Terry.
Do that, Mark.
Listening to everybody and reading everything that's been going on, I guess I'm a little bit confused. Have we really determined what the need is other than a body? I mean, is it engineering tech? Do we need a full-blown engineer? Do we need an engineer with a PE? Have we determined what our actual needs are? I'm not in favor of hiring a consulting firm either, especially with Tracy being in her new position. Granted, she's busy, she's learning, but we have a resource there now. But to me, it doesn't seem like we've really determined what the need is.
Might be.
Help me if I'm misunderstanding something. I don't know.
The biggest need is on the inspection side. So this person is, their summer is busy. They're 10, 12, 10-hour days sometimes that they're out, that they need to be inspecting several job sites, making sure things are done how we expect them to do under Mike's direction. So construction season, they're out there. So that is the biggest need. In the winter, they're not as busy, so they help with GIS and other engineering duties. And depending on the qualifications of the next person that we hire, there could be additional duties that could be put on this person, right? But they definitely don't need a PE. It's not at that level. Mike holds the PE here. There's some municipalities that hire engineers that don't have their PE as their main person. We're fortunate to have one that's a good engineer here.
I guess my other question would be, Mike, what do you think the future needs are? So let's say we land a technician to do all these inspections, and as we grow, how do you see this grow? What's the future needs? And looking into your crystal ball, do we need, or can we get by with just a technician for 3 to 5, 7 years, or are we going to eventually grow to I guess a situation where we need another engineer with a little bit more background, not necessarily PE, because we've got one.
Yeah, I guess a little background. I did this job for 8 years and I started with a PE on this job. And so it's a little hard for me to swallow that it doesn't seem like people want to do this job. Now, the job is kind of a stepping stone position, just as its nature. And the tough part is you can have in the construction or engineering world, you can have engineering techs with a 2-year degree and engineers with a 4-year degree, even sometimes PE doing inspection work and doing a lot of the same tasks. So that's why we switched it. I think the actual tasks that need to be done are well defined, and it's inspections, it's the sidewalk program, it's road rating, and it's GIS work in the wintertime, mapping updates, as-builting, keeping track of the as-builts, things like that, writing specs and kind of overseeing the design in the wintertime for the street and utility project. I guess where this could go in the future, when it comes to our MS4 permit or our stormwater annual permit, there's a lot more tasks that need to be done as part of that when it comes to inspecting our BMPs or ponds and different things like that. So that's kind of where I see more of them type of tasks expanding to. But it is a position that kind of could be done either by an engineer or an engineering tech. As it's mostly, we need someone who can communicate. So you're the first people the residents see on the construction site. So a good assistant engineer can save calls up to City Hall, and keep people, give them the information they need when their street's being tore up, and give them the first line of defense, I guess, and give them the right information.
Yeah, so to me, based on what you just told me, the technician or the engineer can do either or, so now it gets down to a matter of cost, price, right? Salary.
And right person, I think.
And
Someone who's willing to learn, and because there's some people in the end, some engineers might think they're above inspecting, being out 10 hours a day with a construction crew.
We used to call them, they have the God complex,
Okay.
so.
You know what? Mike and Miko just both hit on something that, I talked for like 3 minutes there and then forgot part of what I was going to say, which is not unusual. But if we were to bring it up, if we were to bring the description of the position back up, if we were going to bring up the salary to a degree, or, at least raise that lower end, but I think bring the salary up to a degree. If we brought it up, if the whole thing worked out to additional $10,000, it's 13 years. If we just, totally made it black and white in regard to that inspection contract that we've got. Obviously, we're going to get somebody, or we hope to get somebody before we spend $130,000. The other thing too is, and Mike just hit on this, and if we bring somebody in with either a bit more expertise or a bit more ability to grow, we've got a massive project in front of us with a water treatment plant, and that's going to take a lot of hands-on. We've got a brand new water treatment management, or water treatment department manager. He's been in the department, but he's brand new to the whole management, scenario. And so having somebody that is working a little bit more in depth in that area and learning as they go is going to be really important. I just really believe that we need to probably go back up on the description of the position, and then increase the salary. Just trying to round it out here.
Well, let me ask this. Why don't is there any cost to just posting both a engineering technician and a engineer, and you'd take the other one off? Why narrow the funnel, if you will? Why not just post both and see if we get decent candidates for either? And then once we fill it, once we find somebody, then we just pull the other one.
I like that.
Are there any ethics in that? That is, I'm not saying you're unethical, Jim, by any means. You know what I'm saying, though.
Yeah,
Advertising.
that's something that we can definitely consider, and we'll have conversations with Tracy related to that as well. So Mike, Tracy, and I will meet to discuss that. So this is very good input. We do have an agenda item here that we're looking for a motion to either approve or deny. But I think this is very good input that gives us a direction that we know where to go. We do have, like Mike said, a couple interviews coming up, so hopefully something comes out from there.
All right, with that, I'll make a motion to deny the proposal for engineering technician recruitment services.
Second.
And a motion, a second. All in favor?
Aye.
No one's opposed? Okay, thank you. Mike, I think are you still here? Maybe. Oh, no, you're not anymore. Sorry. Thank you, Mike. 7F is discussion and possible action on authorization to proceed with focused groundwater sampling for emerging contaminants at the former Prochnow landfill site.
So just an update to the newer council members and residents here. The Prochnow landfill is a site behind, now Elbow Room and Newman Chevrolet. that is a contaminated site. It used to be an old dump site for city and town. And this site has been on the DNR's radar since 1980. And the city, town, and Mercury Marine have all been working on this. The responsible parties, because back in the day, people from the city and the town went and dumped their stuff out there, as well as Mercury Marine with their factories here. They are, all three of them are responsible parties. Emerson Electric was a responsible party, but they're out of it right now and haven't been involved. But if anybody wants to learn more, feel free to set up a meeting with me, and I can go more into the history of the site. So we've gotten.
That a long time for that meeting.
We have gotten to that point that with this latest testing that the council had approved, that we were ready to do the SIR, which is a site investigation report. And after the site investigation report, the next step is doing the remediation plan. And after the remediation plan is done, then you can actually do the work and look at closing out this site. So we had this data. We're getting ready for our contractor, Ramble, to submit this information. We had a conversation with the DNR, and DNR said, well, most likely we're not going to approve your site investigation report unless you include some sort of testing for these emerging contaminants, which is a PFOS that we need to now monitor. So at this time, Ramble already has a couple more testings they got to finalize for us. And part of that testing, they can do the testing now, right? They can get it in here in March, and that's why I'm in front of you. The town and Mercury will be having similar discussions. And if we get that approved, it's much cheaper to do it now since they're already going to be testing. So that's why in here, it didn't mention anything about additional cost. So it'll be part of that plan, that testing plan that was already approved. But the reason I'm coming in front of the council is stating that depending on what's found in this, right? So if we approve PFOS testing, depending on what the results are, it could be just that, okay, those are the results, and we submit the site investigation report. Or if the results are not as good as the DNR might want, that could be additional costs down the road for us. But there's really not, we have to do it, is kind of what I'm getting at. But I just wanted to let everybody know that this is something new that has come in front of us because of the DNR as well as the EPA putting this requirement out there. So once we do this, and you look at the PFOS, the state regulation right now says 70 parts per trillion. And they're looking to go a little bit more stricter with the EPA stating 4 parts per trillion. So if we're finding 4 parts per trillion or more, there might be some other requirements related to that. So in summary, we have to finalize the SIR, and this is required that we do the testing. Based on what comes out of the testing, we'll know the next phases. Hopefully in 2026, we'll get this testing done. 2027, we'll start the design for the remediation, and then hopefully start looking at remediation 28, 29. Which would be actually really good because this site has been open since 1980. And if we could get some closure by 2030 on yet another site that's contaminated would be great. So any questions on that?
Yeah, Miko, when you say us, you're talking about us, the town, and Mercury Mariner.
Yes,
Also, whatever comes out of us, that's still split 3 ways.
yes.
Okay.
So I am looking for a motion to approve this additional scope.
I'll make a motion to authorize and proceed with the focused groundwater sampling for emerging contaminants at the former Prochnow landfill site.
Second.
Okay, we got a motion, a second, all in favor?
Aye.
No one's opposed? Okay, thank you, Miko. Good luck. We're going to go to 8, which is a consent agenda. Unless somebody has a question or a comment, could I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Thank you. A motion, a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Hi.
And no one's opposed. Thank you. Reports of department heads, administrators report.
The only thing I'll add here that we got some good news and more news will come out from the EPA on the AMCAS site, that they have received funding for starting to do some of the work on the site. There will be more meetings coming up later this spring, this summer. So that is great news. I was glad to hear that. That's all.
It's really great news. Any comments or suggestions from council members? Go ahead. What'd you say, Kristen?
No, I said it doesn't look like it.
Okay, thank you. Mayor's report, all I was going to comment on is we all received the fire department awards night invitation. And as I say every year, if there's any way at all you can get there, please do. It's one of the most rewarding things that we do or we participate in all year. That's a great group of people, and it's a good thing to do to be there to make certain they know that we recognize them and appreciate them. Mark, you want to jump in here?
Council, I'd like to make a motion to adjourn at 7:49 PM.
Second.
A motion, a second, all in favor?
Aye.
I,
Good, no one's opposed. Thank you. Nick, take care, everybody.
Thanks, Pat.